Yeah.
Hello, Uma.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to Soul Brews with Sheba, and I'm so delighted to have you here in Coffee and Soul. Thank you so much for making the time.
My pleasure.
Lovely to have you here, Uma. So, Uma, you have something to drink ready with you?
Yes, I
Beverage?
have coffee ready.
All right. Okay, so what I will do is pour myself a cup and also um, ask you to do the same. And we'll raise a chair. There we are.
There.
Cheers, Uma.
Yeah. Cheers.
To
Cheers. Cheers.
life,
And
to
to
life,
life. Yeah.
to friendship. Uma, as you hold this cup in your hands, and if I can just ask you to hold this cup in your hand,
Yeah.
and if you can just close your eyes with this cup in your hand, and sit back and relax. And thinking of this brew in your hands, and maybe the warmth or the coolth, whatever works for you. What's the image that comes to your mind?
I think. I think copper corner. Having coffee together. All of us having to coffee together.
And
That's
what
my
does
only. That's my biggest association with this.
yeah? What does that mean to you, Uma?
I just. It's comradeship. It's just exchanging ideas. We've had some great times together.
Yeah, that's so true.
Pulled our hearts out to each other
Yeah,
and told all the little stories of one's life over
yeah.
a cup of coffee.
And that continued for a while, didn't it? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I
it was,
was a late entrant, but you were
yeah,
the,
yeah, it was great fun.
so talk to me a little bit about it. How
We
did
used to
it?
your dad used to ring me up and said, "Aren't you coming? Aren't you coming?" Cuckoo used to call, or Divya would call and say, "Aren't you coming? Where are you? Where are you?" It was a great feeling of belonging. It was a great feeling of. It was like it was Cuckoo's Adda, your dad's Adda. It really
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
We
I
had
know
great
it.
fun.
I feel so privileged to have been a part of it because we've really had some great times there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of things stemmed out of that. There were
Yes.
parties, there were birthday parties thrown in, there were all kinds of celebrations.
Yeah. I mean,
It stemmed out of that whole place.
yeah, yeah. That's so true. Is there anything of that that really stands out to you? Say something that, some incident or something you remember or a memory that really stands out to you of the Kappa Corner. Few things that,
No, it's just that it was an extension of our home, which
yes,
was
so true.
of everyone's home coming together. It was very fantastic. One rarely comes across something like that.
Yeah, and I hope that it can begin again soon.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uma, you've had a very interesting life, a lot of travel, a lot of work, looking, and a lot of art, a lot of exhibitions that you've done, and so much connected. And there's so much energy and spirit in what you do. You also do Gurgaon Utsav here, which is every year, which is celebrated with so much joy. Except this the second the COVID did us in.
I know.
But talk to me a little bit about your as you reflect on your life, some of the highs, some of the lows, your learnings, anything you'd like to share.
Learning. I think I really started, I mean, the appreciation of art and everything started when we got posted to Hong Kong. And I started writing on art. And
When was that?
actually, I remember even as a much younger person, I remember when we were in Calcutta, we had, in my neighborhood, there was somebody called Dr. Shalom who used to be a collector of art.
Okay.
And he used to collect Daniels. And he used to
Okay.
be in the next flat. So I used to be popping in into his house.
Hmm.
And he used to always say that one thing you can learn about art is by seeing as much art as possible. Just train your eyes. The
Wow.
more you see, the more you learn. And that just stuck in my mind. It was just a sentence he said. And it made
Wow.
so much sense. Because after that, it was it was non-stop. It was a long journey. It was an amazing journey. It has been to appreciate art and to get involved in art. My biggest break in actually getting involved in visual art was in Hong Kong when I started writing for first South China Morning Post and then Asian Art News. And I didn't look back.
So when this is so beautiful, and it almost seems like something that's like life itself. Like the more you see, the more you learn. It's like
Absolutely, yeah.
you can transfer it to
Anything,
and
any aspect of it.
is that how you look at it? Is that how you?
Yeah, but I think any aspect of even in theater,
Yeah,
the more you see, the more you learn.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
It's it's a it's a great experience. And then
yeah.
learned, and then when we went to Hong Kong, I think when I started writing and sort of seeing more and more art, and I got into the visual art of it. But there's a very thin line between visual and performing art,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
very easy. It's very easy to cross.
Hmm.
So if you
Hmm.
like visual, you definitely like performing because it's not static.
Right. Right.
It's live and it's there and it's happening, and
Yeah.
so it automatically becomes parallel to what you're already loving.
So beautiful. Do you remember a time where you kind of slid into performing arts, or was there a situation that made it happen, or did it just, how was it?
Before this is before visual art. Before
Yes.
we were in when we were in London, I think I was so crazy about theatre.
Mm.
That, and we were living there for 3 years, so I'd see it a lot. And then when we were living somewhere away from London, and we'd go on a holiday, I would we'd stand in that queue, that cheap ticket queue, and we would see one play. My son and I would see one play after the other, one play. And
Wow.
it didn't matter. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It was, and I'd go in with a headache and come back like I never had a headache. It was
Wow.
such an escape.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Theatre
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that like your first love still, theater? Would you say that?
Well, yeah. It takes theatre, theatre, films also,
Yeah.
and art, visual art. I think all
Yeah.
the arts are fabulous.
Yeah. No, I know, and it's amazing what you do for us here in Laburnum as well. When you bring all this into our lives through music, through the play reading group, through the book club. I mean, there's so much going on here because of the energy that you bring, Uma, to make it happen.
I just feel that if you can, what is the most exciting thing is to see somebody else enjoy what you have already enjoyed.
Yeah.
I remember when we did the Nasir's play, we did a trilogy of, we did a theatre festival when
Right.
we first started in India,
Right.
in Delhi, in here. And somebody asked me, why do you do it?
Hmm.
I said, just to see the joy in somebody else's face
Wow.
in watching it.
Yeah.
Because I felt it, it's fantastic that joy I can see from somebody else's face. It was such an ordinary thing to say, simple thing to say, but that has been with me all along, right up to the last video we've done.
Fantastic. So it's basically the reward. I
It's
suppose
not
that.
as though I'm being selfless.
Yes. Yes. It's just.
It just gives me pleasure, and
Sure.
maybe being selfish,
Yeah.
wanting to see that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
gives me a high.
Yeah, no, and that, the thing is that if it wasn't that true for you, it wouldn't have carried on the way it does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's absolutely.
yeah.
Like even when we did Gandhi, I mean, I was in South Africa. I curated a show on Gandhi, and we
Tell
did.
me about that. How did that?
It
Yeah.
was fantastic. There was a museum there called the Durban Art Museum, and the director was very kind, and she sort of said, the museum is yours for Gandhi. Do what you want. So I again called it Utsav, like Gurgaon. So my first Utsav.
Yes.
And we did Gandhi through my eyes. We got a series from Hakusha who did his philosophy
Okay.
through his. It said Gandhi through my eyes. We combined three things: Gandhi through my eyes, from Empire to Emporium, the progress of Khadi.
Mm.
And then I said, we can't leave out the South Africans. So we said, Gandhi revisited. So I got all the artists in South Africa to paint him.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it
Yeah.
was a picture of three different energies.
Right.
And then we said we can't, because it just so happened that there was an exhibition of Nelson Mandela going on in the next room. So
Mm.
we said, let's just combine it because he was so influenced by Gandhi.
Right. Right.
So we just put, our poster was, one face had Gandhi, one had thing, but of course the focus was Gandhi. But what was the absolute most important part of it all was, Gandhi through my eyes.
Mm. Mm. It's okay, Uma. Ambient noises are very welcome because, yeah.
Gandhi through my eyes into philosophy of Gandhi, and it was
Right.
done. Hakubai had taken it, Hakusha had taken it, and done it in a small room.
Yeah.
And he had the philosophy, and in the next to the philosophy, next to every painting, he written down the philosophy of Gandhi and what
Wow.
each painting, meant. And in the ground, he had this. He had made a path with sand
Okay.
and little footsteps as though Gandhi was walking.
That must have been amazing.
And on the side of it, we were all supposed to write anything we wanted. So I wrote Akla Chalo in Bengali.
Hmm.
Somebody wrote something in all the different languages of Africa. We did. And people used to walk in and say, this is like a sanctuary. God, this is like a sanctuary. To me, my God, that was the ultimate high. And we started it very interestingly because we said, there was a Indian guy who's running a black dancers group, and I told him, "Can you do a small program
Mm.
to begin it?" So I wanted to mix again. I wanted to still flirt with performing art.
Right.
So we
Right.
started. So he did the most beautiful little piece
Right.
with music from Ravi Shankar
Okay.
and and uh, uh, and Zakir Hussain.
All right. Okay.
And I asked him, "How did you pick this?"
Mm.
He says, "I just felt it."
Wow. Look at that. That's
Um,
amazing.
I know. It was amazing. His spirit was all over the place.
Mm. No,
It
what
was.
you're saying
So
is
then,
so evocative. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Go
then
ahead.
when we came back to India and we moved to Laburnum, I felt we can't. It was so new in my mind. So I said, these kids here have to know about this. So for nearly 3 years, we did workshops a month before his birthday, and then did a little play down under the stilt area. Very few people attended,
Right.
but it didn't
Right.
matter. The people who attended were so thrilled to be there.
Lovely.
The children and their parents. We'd have little kulcha. We'd have little eats. The mothers would bring little eats. Some of these senior citizens would sing songs from Gandhi's,
That's
sing
so
his
beautiful,
bhajan.
Uma. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it stopped. Then people grew up, all the kids grew up and everything. And then again, because of COVID, I thought, what an opportunity to do it on a video.
Right.
So
Right.
that was a lovely experience. I had such fun doing it.
Yes.
And you helped as well with the Dohas.
Yeah, but I did a little bit in this, but the whole thing, including Khadi and our children here and how they all put it together and the songs, I thought it was just celebrating Gandhi today the way that we did. I think that is such a tribute, such
Yeah.
a tribute.
And it is so important.
Yeah. So tell me the influence of Gandhi in your life. How come? What,
Oh, nothing. It's just that I think my mother was a Gandhiite. And
and how did that, in the sense?
that, like, she got married, and the first thing she did was wear a khadi and go to all his meetings and so on.
Mm.
So we were made to feel that he was a very important, integral part of our lives, and he was like an uncle. I remember meeting his grandson, and I said, we were made to feel that he was a part of my family.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fascinating, and I just thought, I was, his teachings are so important
Mm.
today,
Mm.
so relevant.
Mm.
If we can even let some of the kids know about it. Even I think it's important.
Mm. Mm.
I'm not sort of trying to force it under you. But if in a nice manner, if you can bring him out, it's interesting. Make him playful and happy, and not just his specs and walking. It's like like what they did in Venice. The recently when they had that Biennale last year, India had a booth, and the whole theme was Gandhi, but it wasn't Gandhi with specs and walking. It was Gandhi's spirit,
Amazing.
and it was an abstract art, completely abstract, and that was amazing because you really have the spirit.
Yes.
And if the artists today, they're so abstract through installations and so on, they did the most beautiful job.
Yeah. And what you're saying just makes so much sense, Uma, in the sense that it is the spirit and it's the passing on of the spirit which is far more
Yeah.
more relevant than just the caricature of Gandhi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Caricatures too passe.
Yes, exactly. And when we make the caricature, I think it's enough for us to think, "Ye ho gaya, we made this, so we paid our tribute." But exactly.
That's not enough.
Yeah.
We have to get into the heart of it all.
Yeah.
What was he all about? What did he say? What did it mean?
Mm. And to you, if there was one message of his that strikes you as
Well, the one that I can't remember, but the one that we ourselves can make a change.
yes,
I can't exactly what he said, but that's what he implied.
I think it's be the change that you want to see or something.
Yeah, you be the change.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
it's a little thing,
Yes,
it doesn't matter, but it is important.
correct.
And in that way, he's empowering everybody.
Yes, yes,
He's giving you that might
yes,
that you can become something. You can, even one little gesture of yours can make a difference.
absolutely.
You don't have to be a neta or something to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a small thing can do that.
Absolutely. So coming into a space of, Uma, if I was to ask you, what would be a perfect day for you?
No, I don't know. I don't
What would be a good day or a great day for you? What do you think what would it? You can't say that right now.
No, I can't think of any perfect because every day is so different, and that's the excitement of life.
Yes. So tell me about that.
There should be no perfect. There should be. You cannot say what is a perfect day because it has never. It is changing all the time, and you can find perfection. You can find perfection in different things on different times of your life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is no perfect for me.
And is this the way you say that you live your life? Would you say that?
Yeah. What comes, what happens, and happens. Yeah. You have to take everything as it comes. You can't say this will be perfect. Today it might be perfect. Tomorrow you may not think it's perfect.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Life
So,
is such.
yeah. And I guess, as you're saying, it's a lot about just living in the flow, isn't it?
Yeah. You got to live with the flow. You should not quite frankly, you should not have such great expectations. You'll never be disappointed.
Mm. Mm.
She takes life as it comes.
Mm.
You can get rattled, but in the bigger picture, it doesn't matter.
If I was to ask you, what are some of the gifts that you have received in life that have shaped you? What do you think those would be that have made you who you are, Uma?
My father, when I was very young, father was alive till who I lost when I was 16. But by the time I was 16, he sort of taught me lots of things in life, on human relations and all kinds. And you also realize, and when I lost him, you can realize what things change. Because also one thing I realized when he died was life is so transitory.
Mm.
That was a big lesson at a very young age. And with that, as a lesson, And then my mother, of course, who's been my guide, my guardian and my guiding soul and everything. She's spiritual and everything, but I never got to spirituality. But and and of course, Tiny, my son. My God, I think it was the best thing that happened to me in my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was amazing to impart to him what my father gave me. Small instance, like even Urdu poetry, appreciation of music, appreciation of the arts is actually imparted to me by my father. And Ma, to an extent. We used to have a singing teacher come to us in Calcutta, and we both used to be singing away, whether we had a voice or not. We'd be learning how to sing. A lot of things have shaped my life, lots of things. But these are, I mean, these are important. These were important influences, and they will always remain with me. They're constant,
And
which is
you, mm,
they're the only thing that are constant, and they would be the perfect. That would be my perfection. The constancy, the fact that they're with me all the time is perfect.
yeah, that's very powerful, Uma. That's and it's real. It's real.
Yeah, it's real. Because, that's perfection really in our
Mm,
life. Because if you're looking for perfection, what is it that really means a lot to you?
mm,
And these are the two things, or
mm,
three or four, that mean a lot. That would be my perfection.
mm, mm,
I'm
mm.
making this a very sad interview. Please carry on. Make
No,
cheer.
it's not. It's not a sad interview at all. It's a reflective interview. It's a conversation that is real. As I said, it's the focus is on what what drives you, what makes you who you are, Uma. Because it's each person is special. They bring their own uniqueness, and if we can't bring that out, then it's a real loss. I feel somewhere there's a little hole in the whole of humanity if we haven't been able to bring that one uniqueness that each individual carries to light as much
Yeah,
as possible.
that's true.
Yeah. So, you grew up in Calcutta. How was that?
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing childhood. One of the best one could have ever had. It was great, carefree, learned a lot. Um,
Calcutta
Great
was swinging in those days, wasn't
doing it.
it?
Absolutely. Wasn't anything that you wanted, you got in
Yeah,
Calcutta. Really, it was good
yeah,
fun. It was a
yeah,
fun place.
yeah,
Lovely people.
yeah, yeah. And in all the time that you traveled outside the country, you've been to a number of places that you went and lived outside the country. And how was it to come back and
Oh, it's amazing to come back. Even when I was living abroad, my heart was always here.
mm. Why do
Um,
you think that is?
I don't know. I was the only one who wasn't fascinated about going abroad. I was happy, but there's something about India. My God,
Yeah.
you can't. There's something about India which you can't. So I carried my India with me wherever I went.
Yeah.
But I had to come back for revival. I had always
Yeah.
had to come back every year to get myself
Mm.
organized and then go back. But India, I mean, living here is another story. Whatever you want to do, you can do.
Correct. Yeah.
You have an idea, you can see it through.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you say you carried your India with you, how did that manifest, Uma? What would make you what would that be?
It's fascinating that you ask because I remember going to South Africa and meeting as Indian South African and who had been over the years completely, overruled by the whites.
Mm.
And it was just straight after
Mm.
independence.
Mm.
And I told him, I remember telling him, he was a teacher, art teacher in one of the colleges there. I remember telling him that my USP is that I'm an Indian. And, it really was. It really has been, even in London. In South Africa, I mean, people would ask me to open exhibitions because I was and one of the few Indians who was in the art world. So
Wow.
they would decorate, like even like that Utsav. You know, like even in the museum, the Indians in South Africa hadn't even seen genuine artwork by Indian artists. So I came to India, came to Delhi, went to National Gallery of Modern Art, told them to send an exhibition. They sent an exhibition of the masters. And they were thrilled because they'd only seen them in magazines.
Wow.
They
That
were
must have been
just
something.
thrilled. Yeah. They were just thrilled to see them. So and I told this guy, remember telling him that my USP, and it is, because it is important. I mean, because I went back and like a lot of Indian, like a lot of white artists were inspired by India. I remember Andrew had an exhibition and he asked me to open it. But before that, he said, will you decorate the place for me? So I decorated the place with garlands and with rose petals. And I didn't tell him what I was going to do. So that while sort of saying Andrew's exhibition is opening and so on, I had my hand was, I had something in my hand. I had rose petals. I threw it on him. I said, this is celebration. God, there was stunned silence because they're not seeing the confidence that we have of being here, which is so important. And there was, the next day I get a letter from him. That was
That was? Missed that.
magic.
Magic.
What a magical evening you created. And I had lovely, garlands all over the place, little rose petals, and it's an Indian musician playing.
Okay. Even an Indian. Yes.
It was an amazing evening. Yeah. So that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
carried it.
Yeah.
That's one instance of carrying India.
Yeah, and created it wherever for everyone to experience, as well as I hear you say this.
Yeah. Pride on it.
Yes.
That's the basic, which been instilled by my mother.
Yeah.
Completely. The pride of being an Indian. Because this whole thing about Gandhi, the whole thing about being an Indian has been instilled by her. I mean, there's nobody else who could have put it so deep in me. She's completely simple. She's not interested in, she was so inside herself. I'm very inspired by her.
So both your mom and dad had brought out different facets of you, as I'm hearing you say,
Completely.
and you are their living legacy because the way that you recognize them for what they have.
Yeah, completely. I couldn't have been what I am if it wasn't for who they were. My father, came back from London doing, what was that dance? Tap dancing.
Okay.
I mean, he was that way. And Mama was as, spiritual and Indian in comparison. So I had both, but I could take both with me.
Yeah.
And appreciate both.
It's also the perspective that you bring. Instead of seeing the contradiction there, and this is the way that this is the uniqueness, the way that you view it. You see the complementarity. You see the way that it has shaped you, and it could have been a different perspective by somebody else. But what is so beautiful is the way that you view it, Uma.
Yeah, I think it's to my credit that I have
exactly
both influences on me. It's an amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud of it.
No, I see that. So how did Gurgaon Utsav start?
So what happened? You see what happened when we came to Gurgaon, we realized there was absolutely no culture. So it so happened that I did one instance. I did something with the Indian Ocean. Just as a practice, I did in India because we had done Gurgaon. I had done Utsav in South Africa. So here I wanted to replicate it in a different way into this environment. And now I was home, so it would be completely different. Then we got hold of, then so happened that we met up. I met up with Nasir, and he started. He started me. We did a festival of his.
Okay. Of
And
Nasiruddin
that's
Shah.
yeah, so we actually did something called the Nasiruddin Shah Theatre Festival but not in Gurgaon, in Ashoka Hotel in Delhi.
Mm.
Then we were doing a couple of plays. We did lots of plays, my partner and I. And then suddenly, we realized the biodiversity park is open, and
Mm.
they've got a new venue, and they don't know
Mm.
what to do, and they're looking. So we went and we did a proposal to them. We gave them a proposal to the uh, counselor, and he fell for it completely. He said,
Mm.
"Yes, start, do what you want." So we started the Gurgaon Utsav with him, and it's a joint venture with the municipal corporation. It
Yes.
has been for the last 10 years,
Yes.
and we didn't look back because we needed a place like that so desperately.
Mm.
It was like our Nehru place.
Yes.
We
Yes.
needed it. I mean, there's no question. And
Yes.
the atmosphere was so amazing, that place, that I couldn't believe when I saw the rocks. Light from below immediately. So we lit it up. I mean, it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Lovely, really lovely. And then we met so many, and every year we did, different things. We even brought in theatre, we did Pia Bhai Rupia, we did lots of theatre, we did lots of music, we did lots of dance, we did all kinds of things.
Yes. And I was
And we had a
fortunate to
great
attend.
following, great following.
Yeah.
They kept asking for us, give us more, give us more. Now we're trying to do something on our Facebook page, but it's not the same. We can't capture the atmosphere.
Hopefully, this is going to stop soon, and we are all going to get,
Yeah,
it'll behind us, so that we can go back to some of the things that are so precious
yeah,
as part of this whole experience of of engaging in life.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, yeah. So, if I was to ask you this now, Uma, that if I what is that unique thing you bring? If it was to be a perspective of life, or what do you think you carry which is unique to you? Now, it could be shared. Different people will have a different, could have a similar thing, but something that is just your stamp on on humanity, because each one of us has a different stamp.
That's huge. That's a very big
Mm,
question.
okay.
But I'm too small for that. You can ask Gandhi that. Don't ask me. I'm too small.
So
No, no.
let me specify that. What I mean is that, this whole universe, it's a multifaceted thing, the whole universe, and each person is a facet of that brilliance, and each person therefore shines in their own particular manner. And so here I don't mean to say that you have to impact millions like Gandhiji did, but something that you bring that is unique.
I think we use the arts to bring in joy. The joy of understanding and viewing art, I think, is my uniqueness.
I,
Um,
I absolutely couldn't agree with you more,
because
because when I see the,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's true, because that's it. The joy I've experienced, I want to
Yeah.
share.
Yeah.
That's, I think, my uniqueness.
And I think that is so powerful, Uma, because it's not about, it's really about just sharing the experience with someone else and seeing them, it enhances, from what I'm understanding, it probably enhances your own joy when you
Yes,
see
yes. It
someone
gives me
else.
a high.
Yeah.
Different things give different people a high. It
Yeah.
gives me a high that I managed to bring a smile to his face.
Yeah.
Even like the whole Gurgaon Utsav experience is so joyous
Yes.
that so many people are enjoying it.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's a mass joy for me.
Yeah, I understand.
1,000 people a night come.
Yeah.
So we work very hard to go those 1,000 to come.
Yeah. I remember my first experience of Dastan Goi was with you, and
Yeah,
really incredible. It was such a joy for me. And I could see your happiness in my joy.
Yeah.
That was so.
Yeah, that's exactly. And Faruqi was so good. He
Yes,
is so good. His
so good.
Kanna is just whoop. You don't know what to do when he starts off.
Yeah, it's true. It's
I mean,
brilliant.
look what he brings to the table. He brings a full, a tale,
Yeah,
uh, folklore. I mean, a really important thing for us. He brings it to life. What we are saying, okay, we'll read about it, maybe it might be okay, but no, not him. He's acting it. He's telling you, he's bringing in different languages. He's bringing Sanskrit into it. He's brought Farsi into it. He's exciting you with everything and making a story like Karna's so exciting that you're completely mesmerized. Look at him. Whew. I'm a little
enthralling.
dot in
Sorry,
comparison. I said, I'm a little dot in comparison.
we all are, Uma. We actually, we
I
all.
mean, that's really something. That's an amazing, contribution he gives.
Yeah, what an art form, and he's a
Yeah,
master.
he's a master, absolute master. Yeah.
So, thank you so much for
No,
giving
it's
me
been
this.
lovely talking to you. I didn't realize I would talk so long.
No, it's been wonderful to talk to you.
Perhaps
And just experiment. Sorry, go ahead, Uma.
I said I haven't bored you people to tears, you to tears.
Not at all. My God, it's just such a beautiful journey. What comes to my mind when I talk to you now is that lovely picture of yours on JS, Junior Statesman.
With our hands up.
Yeah, it's an expression of who you are. It really is your essence. And every time I talk to you, I think of that because that was so long ago, but it is in essence. It's really captured something. And that was, yeah. So the joie de vivre, actually,
Yeah.
the love for life and sharing it. And I hope you continue to, uh, you know, make our lives so beautiful as you do.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
and in terms of, no, don't deny it. It's a fact. It's a joy, Uma, to be able to participate in these things. Living the way that we are and still doing these things, I think it's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I hope,
Thank you.
no, it is a pleasure. And I hope we have our coffees downstairs in Cuckoo's
Absolutely.
Adda soon again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been a
Okay, thank you.
wonderful conversation with you. And thank you for making the time, Uma. I really appreciate it.
No, I don't know if it's okay. Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye, Uma.